Alright, so we're off to the races here in round 3 of tonight's 4-round Friday Night Magic Standard event from Lost Legion Games and Comics. And we've got table 1 here. We've got Joseph Deal playing Mono Red, the Jerry Thompson red deck that we talked about earlier in the evening, up against the Junk Aristocrats deck of Alec Myers. So turn 1, Stromkirk Noble, met by turn 1 and 2, Young Wolf and Doom Traveler. Ironically, that Doom Traveler cannot block the Stromkirk Noble, but it can get Tragic slipped. And Alec off to the races here already. Joseph with the pump fake, thinking better of whatever line that he was drawing up. Question about Alec's sleeves. I'm not sure. I doubt that he has different. Also, a question in the chat about whether or not the Buddy Lands will be in M14. I don't think they will. I think they've disproven that ability. Meanwhile, a Cartel Aristocrat shows up for Alec, and Joseph adds not 1 but 2 Rakdos Cacklers. Now a Fire Fist Striker. It looks like he had another follow-up, so what is that going to be? Another Stromkirk Noble. So lots of business for Joseph, but the Cartel Aristocrat makes it so difficult for him to attack in, as he'll just trade the front half of his Doom Traveler with whatever Joseph attacks with. Blood Artist, Voice of Resurgence. Loading the board with all kinds of nonsense. Alec piling in with his Young Wolf and his Doom Traveler. This is basically the difference between the red, white, and black Aristocrats deck, is the addition of Young Wolf and Voice of Resurgence. So the board state pretty clogged up here, but that Blood Artist and Cartel Aristocrat going to take control of this game very quickly. That Voice of Resurgence can be sacked at any point. So we're triggering the Fire Fist Striker, so something's not going to be able to block. I would choose the Cartel Aristocrat, I would think. Because the Voice of Resurgence is more than likely just going to be sacked to protect the Cartel Aristocrat anyway. And the Legion Loyalist is going to trigger too, so they all get First Strike, or they all get Trample. So a lot of shenanigans going on here. Alec lining up his blocks. Question in the chat about the reprint of Mutavault and why it's such a big deal. It's not so much a big deal for Standard per se, but it is a big deal that it is a $35 to $40 card that they are reprinting at Rare in the new core set. I think it's more financial than gameplay. So we're blocking a Cackler and a Legion Loyalist, taking the rest. And after it's all sorted out, forgive me here as I try to figure out what's going on. And when it's all said and done, thus settled to Alec at 13, having not lost any creatures. Joseph loses 2 guys and is at 12 because of Blood Artist triggers. It's very interesting because I would think at some point you would sack the voice to make a big attacker here. Because with the Blood Artist, it's going to be very difficult for Joseph to race here. But no, Alec's just going to send in with the Doom Traveler. Either way, it's going to get in for 1 because of the Blood Artist. So Joseph down to 11, untapping into a very convoluted board state. As I enjoy the refreshing taste of an A&W root beer. I also forgot to start the clock, so let's assume there is 40 minutes left in this round. We'll go reset that in a minute. So Joseph kind of up against it here. We've got a lot of business, but can't really profitably attack into the combination of Blood Artist, Voice of Resurgence, and Cartel Aristocrat. Aristocrat is just such an unassumingly powerful card, especially in a deck like this with Doom Travelers and the green equivalent Young Wolf, that, or even Voice of Resurgence, where you don't really mind sacking the front half because you get value out of the back half. So Doom Traveler goes the way of the Buffalo, leaves a spirit in its wake. And this is how we're going to block. Voice on the Stromkirk, Cartel Aristocrat on the Rakdos Cackler, which is pro'd because of the Doom Traveler sack. And the Firefish Strike are going to be taken out by a spirit, but it looks like Joseph has, was that a Rubble Belt Maka? So he's going to be able to, well, I don't think that pumps the back, does it pump the backside too? Interesting here. +3 plus pound sign. That's what the chat gave me. And +3/+3, yeah. It was a 3/3 creature, and the Blood Rush is always the power toughness of the creature. I should have known that myself, but... So he can save one of his guys here. So Joseph not going to use it. Everything happens. So Joseph dropped down to 5 off of Blood Artist triggers. Alec up to 19. He's going to get his Voice of Resurgence token. And then Joseph is just going to hard cast his 3/3 Rubble Belt Maka. So the Voice token is a 4/4. And I think with Joseph at 5, yeah, they just realized that he can attack in. He can pro red, deal 1 damage off the sack, attack in for 2, sack the rest of his team to deal the final bits of damage. So Junk Aristocrats taking advantage of a Blood Artist making an appearance and grinding out game 1 of this round 3 matchup. Like I said, this is table 1. Both of these players are undefeated. Let's take a look at who else is undefeated. We've got Ian Stragey, who's playing, he's not been on camera tonight, he's playing a black-white mid-range deck, I think. Ian Stragey's always playing some kind of white deck, but I saw him have a Godless Shrine in Isolated Chapel earlier tonight, so I think that's his deck of choice. Also in 4 points is the tie that we saw last round. Nick Reed playing Bant mid-range, and then Zach Glianco playing his Demon Post deck, his black-red Trading Post deck. Slew of people at 3 points, including Adam Vickers, who won our round 1, but apparently lost last round, and then Max Turner, who's playing Bug Control as well. So a couple bugless in the field. Again, just 18 players with us tonight due to Origins being regionally located. A lot of people already over there or have plans to go. Discussion in the chat has now turned to speculation of M14 cards, specifically discussion of the recently spoiled Mutavault, which has a huge impact not just on potential new standard, but also the price of modern and legacy decks, as well as the speculation on what non-basic lists, if any, are going to be in the new set. There's an interesting case study. Guys have have figured out fairly well how to predict what cards are left to be spoiled in a set based on collector's numbers and based on, I think the cards are numerically listed based on alphabet in section. So there's actually a chance that there will not be any basic lands, non-basic lands in the new set, at least at the rare slot. A lot of people talking about the possible reprint of the filter lands, which are from the Lorwyn block. I believe that's, I can't remember, I think it was a Shadowmoor or Eventide, one of those two. But the Mystic Gate, Twilight Mire cycle of cards, which might show up either in M14 or in Theros. Another way that they can help minimize the cost of Modern as well as allow for fixing. Of course, it would be pretty brutal, in my opinion, to have both filter lands and shock lands in the same standard environment. But obviously they don't consult me on decisions like this. So we'll see exactly what happens. So I mentioned it earlier tonight, guys, as we're up to 96 people watching us. We are close to some pretty significant viewership milestones. So if this is your first time watching, or if you've watched in the past but have not taken the time to follow us on our various social media sites, please help us out. It helps to spread the word and give us some reasonable numbers that we can use to lure potential advertisers to the stream. That would just, any money earned goes right back in the stream and hopefully makes it a better broadcast. So subscribe to us on YouTube, follow me on Twitter, like our Facebook page and participate in activities over there. And then obviously if you're following on Twitch, make sure to click the follow button, which is above and to the left on the new format and below and to the left on the old layout. All of these things are the website / Zach Sells Magic. So like I said, we're we're 2 people short of 700 followers on Twitch. And when I started the broadcast tonight, we were 1 Facebook like away from being at a smooth 600. So thanks to those of you who have already supported us that way. And thanks in advance to anybody who heads over there now and follows as well. And I've mentioned before, the Facebook page is pretty cool. And basically treat it as a Magic news aggregator. It's not just stuff about the stream, it's also stuff about other Magic news. It's basically a Magic news aggregator. Lots of photos, videos, links to interesting articles, decks, all kinds of stuff like that. So it's the kind of website I would visit on a daily basis. So I try to make it worthwhile for you guys as well. And thanks to Crispy Squirrel and Eder Mask in the chat, who are our 699th and 700th follower. So we appreciate you guys following us on there. Obviously that will send you an email anytime we go live to remind you when we have broadcasts. Normally we just do these FNMs here on Fridays, but we occasionally do have other events. So you'll be aware of those as well. Let's get back to the action here. Joseph Deal down a game on the play. Leads off with a Stromkirk Noble, which is met by a Deathrite Shaman, and then another Firefist Striker. This Junk Aristocrats matchup for the red deck seems atrocious. It just seems like there's no way of profitably attacking through. Like, you want some kind of bonfire type effect. You really need a ton of removal to get all your little guys through. But I'm not too particularly familiar with this red deck, but it seems like it's pretty rough. So there's a Lightning Mauler. So it looks like Alec is loading up a Tragic Slip here, just trying to decide exactly what he wants to slip. I would imagine you would take out the Mauler here, as you have the other 2 creatures potentially on lockdown. No, he doesn't want to, I guess. He can do it at any point. And Joseph just going to pile in with everything. So, Firefist Striker triggers, and Deathrite Shaman cannot block. Doom Traveler trades with the Firefist Striker, Tragic Slip takes out the Stromkirk Noble, and Alec eats 2 damage down to 16. That's how that all sorts out. Follows up with the Cartel Aristocrat, which gave Joseph a ton of nightmares in Game 1. Can only imagine it will do the same amount of damage here in Game 2. So a mana-heavy draw from Joseph. I see another mountain in his hand already with 4 in play. This deck wins off of high volume in the early stages. Not sure if, well, just a Powerheart Wolf. It's going to make blocking a little bit more difficult for Alec. Paired with the Lightning Mauler. Probably still can't attack here because you can just sack the token and then double block with something. Well, Alec is all Tragic Slips all the time, as we've seen 3 across the first 2 games so far. Taking out the Lightning Mauler. So we're going to serve in with the Flying Spirit and the 2/2 Aristocrat, knocking Joseph down to 16. But no follow-up. Both players flooded a little bit on lands. Neither of these decks operates on much... oh my goodness. A 3rd Tragic Slip from Alec. So the Powerheart Wolf comes back as a 2/2 thanks to Persist. And the Krinko's Command follows up. Krinko's Command in this deck basically to help trigger Foundry Street Denizen, and as well as to activate Battalion. End of turn there, Alec removing the Stromkirk Noble to go ahead and gain 2 life. Chat mentioning that he could have removed the Powerheart Wolf with the Deathrite Shaman while it was still in the graveyard with the Undying trigger on the stack, but choosing not to do that, either missing it or just choosing not to for whatever reason. And we're going to Dino Charge. Dino Charge. Let's see what that does. I think it's +2/+0 to all your creatures. Yep. So just pumping all of his creatures. And when all is said and done, everybody's at 13. The Blood Art is showing up again. Basically the same board state that Alec won with in the previous game. Very likely that the same scenario is going to end up resulting here in this one. Hey, Zach.
Hey, Zach.
If you're in here this early, that means probably not good, right?
I did get beat.
Because your deck does not win quickly.
No, it's definitely a grind.
But every deck can lose quickly.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I had 3 Dragon Skull Summits and 3 Mutilates in hand.
That is brutal.
That's very unfortunate. So, how's this game going?
Well, they're done. Joseph Deal playing in he's playing the mono red deck, I guess, that Jerry Thompson has been promoting on Star City the last couple weeks. So it plays 16 1-drops, and Alec's deck is all like 1/1 or 1/2 1/1 or 2/2 creatures that you can't kill once. You have to kill twice. It's Junk Aristocrats, so
yes,
Young
okay.
Wolves, Doom Travelers, Cartel Aristocrats, and what seems like we saw like 25 turns in those 2 games and 5 Tragic Slips out of Alec, so also pretty brutal for him.
Yes,
so
very good.
let's see.